All right, so here's some hypotheses that I'm building in analysis for my investigation. So when I met with the Benton County Sheriff, essentially right when I brought up the fact that there was reports of these banditos and executioners being in that jail, the immediate paranoid response from LT, well, that's commissioners. And so essentially, what that means is he believes in that being the commissioner's jurisdiction. And that what I wonder is that those are executive legislators, and that the sheriff's department is the executive law or executive in the law way. And so jurisdiction refers to local, county, state, and federal law enforcement. And that to refuse to do anything based on people that aren't actually a part of the law enforcement is a type of reaction that I look for. See, inside of commissioner's office is somebody that's Mormon, that essentially Mormons like to run everything through their Mormon temple in private investigation ways. Okay? So official public investigations is what's needed, and that you people are trying to push this idea into a Mormon temple investigation, and that will get a lot of push from this person, and that my guess is little red-haired handshaker who does a basic Mormon kind of interaction with somebody is probably either an open Mormon or a secret Mormon. And that this connection is probably what the sheriff's department will be using as a reason to have the jail investigated through the Mormon temple's internal fundy investigators. See, Mormon Temple likes to turn anything that would be considered satanic S&M into a label that they call fundy. And that then they lump everybody, including victims of satanic S&M, into a label of fundy. And then this type of situation has these people influencing this type of stuff to be pushed into a private investigation that will be breaking laws in lots of ways. And see, a normal investigation will be following laws, and that Mormon is essentially like bitch moves off of that type of idea. They just do. I've investigated. Yeah, this is where Mormon Temple was involved in this in my investigation of all of this stuff. They're not part of my investigation. They are a focus of my investigation. I don't use their manipulated fucking FBI index whatsoever. That stuff is so biased, it excludes most Mormons out of it of doing anything bad. It literally, anybody that talks about their internal Satanism shit then has an index of being like a horrible bad person. And so that index that they use in there is completely made to be covering up anything that falls under the label of Mormon when they take over these hookup sites that these deputy cops use, these cop gangs use. And then everybody gets relabeled as Mormon. Then it essentially scrubs and has an automated scrub of the index. And then people that blatantly have those tattoos all of a sudden aren't considered by these Mormon temple investigators to be banditos. Huh, bandito? I've seen those fucking tattoos in there. So, I know that you people kill people to be getting into those gangs. Huh, Pasco? 17 shots, Pasco. And all of you that go out to these Mill Creek camps and shit. And all of you bum blasphemy people. They round up bums and then they get them to be basically not officially on the like homeless shelter grid or at the CAS or whatever. And then they get them wandering. And then they pick them up in a way. And in like a hitchhiker's way, and then they take them out, and then a whole group kills them. Happens at Columbia Park also. And so all of you Mormons basically attempt to do the same thing in a trafficking fundy way out at a Mill Creek at the top. Bumblebees. Where some of you, like Mormon cops, end up showing up to a little bumblebee event out there at Mill Creek at the top. And so this is where all of you, this is where this person, who essentially is the interface person, is placed to be preventing information to be coming out about any of this type of stuff. And that my guess is that the push off to the Mormon, the commissioner's jurisdiction stuff is my guess. That will be their course of action based on his one response to me about this. What I noticed is that an investigation that refuses to look into a jail that they bring people to, that is where that person immediately basically indicated how if they were going to investigate Benton County deputy gangs, that they wouldn't be investigating the jail based on not being under their banner. Okay? And so the whole idea is that jails are a part of it, and regardless of if it's controlled by the commissioner's jurisdiction or commissioner's, it's run through the commissioner's office, that doesn't matter. You people are investigators. The investigators are in the sheriff's office, and you people are supposed to investigate the jail. And so the whole idea is that I know that you guys are covering this stuff up. Okay? I know that. I already know that, okay? So everything that you're going to do, I already have researched, because when I brought in a terror plot, you people basically ran a similar kind of thing. So that was in the past. Whoever that guy was that I was bringing that shit to essentially was doing a similar kind of idea. Basically. And that you people basically turned that into noticing some corporation and then running a private investigation of that, which basically exonerated any existence of anything. So that's where you guys ran that through Mormon investigation also. And so that's where you guys viewed the corporation as some sort of jurisdiction that gets to control their own investigation. You see what the methodologies are of the inoculation? There is no world where these people don't get to investigate themselves. They can, but in a criminal way, they're not allowed to investigate criminal stuff, basically. They're not allowed to be the official people that investigate the criminal investigation. They can do a private internal one, but that has to be approved through a commissioner's vote, and that has to be public. See, behind the scenes, you guys aren't allowed to be having Mormon be doing internal affairs style stuff. You people have to have a public hearing, and that then you guys have to have a public vote, and that all of that stuff has to be made public. And then you guys have to disclose who is doing the investigation. Just because they do it for free doesn't matter. The actions of the public's office have to be documented. So if you guys are using your stupid little fucking Mormon there, he's part of this. Also, he's a target of my investigation. Also, that is why I went into the commissioner's office. See, Mormon, your influence over the whole covering up of all of this shit is exactly why I'm going to get your local fucking whoever your fucking white clothes communications person is. Whoever the white clothes communication person is. And you see that I've already done years of preliminary research, fully knowing that you guys have a regional representative that basically does the public relations and stuff, and that person will have the white clothes. And that is the contact information that I'll be looking for. And that I'll be informing him in a normal, like, Tri-City way of these two. And I'll be wondering, why the fuck they're doing that. And then I'll also be asking who runs their internal fundamentalist, like, you know, whenever some stake center ward leader or something ends up having something that would be considered Warren Jeffs', they have an internal private investigation on Mormons only. Ones that get like, ones that do tithing and get Mormon perks, ones that get temple certified and shit. Those people only is what this little Mormon investigation system is for. It's not meant. It's not meant for a commissioner's internal affairs or anything, and that they're technically not allowed to be running a business out of their Mormon temple either. So if they're doing it for free, why would Mormon who's greedy about money do that for free? Because of Mormons' inclusion in all of this stuff, that attempts to cover up Mormons' inclusion in all of this stuff. Mormon doesn't do anything for free. You know what? I know what white clothes Mormons are, and that they know that Mormon doesn't do anything for free. You know, there is a realm that is probably illegal that does private investigations, but they don't do that stuff for free. They don't. Essentially, Mormons that are like Bain. See, in Bain or Marriott, that's where Mitt or Marriott would be paying Mormon Temple to do a private investigation. That's like not necessarily legal because they just gift the money, but that's essentially what it is. So the whole idea is that Mormon doesn't really do this stuff, at least in the past, without a Mormon basically paying in the form of tithing. And so just remember that, yeah, just because you people are paying on the side, you're not supposed to allow Mormon Temple to be accessing computers. You're not supposed to be allowing Mormon to be seeing anything that the public wouldn't be able to see. And then you're not supposed to be doing the investigations. And that these people need to realize that these are criminal things that these deputy gangs are doing. And criminal stuff is law under a sheriff's department. And so if LT doesn't comprehend, that doesn't surprise me. My guess is that just leads me into believing that he's Mormon. Most Mormons don't comprehend anything because they sit in their little stupid world waiting for Mormon to tell them what to do. And so just remember that these are the types of indicators that I build of being a deputy gang world around here. Because now this is like what the like updated version, because basically what these deputy gangs have done, the gangsters have essentially kind of exposed in lots of ways. So now they have this whole new weird kind of Mormon inclusion into this shit that then runs. See, the whole idea is that at its core, LDS Mormon is like all about business over government. They're kind of used the Donald Trump theory of anything being needing to run through a subcontract idea. And so that's where, and then entities, essentially they use the theory of entities, which is like the commissioner's office is a separate entity than the sheriff's department, thus separate inoculations or separate jurisdiction ideas. That is what this person alluded to. And you see that your seemingly normal public relations response to me had me pulling in a piece of data that I'm highly analyzing at. And you know what there, LT? Did you rape like a lesbian that does tranny? Just wondering. Because I know how you people do certain things in those weird Mormon Twilight S&M Mormon clubs, okay? I know how they do that stuff. So just remember that this is the stuff that I already know exists here. So when LT doesn't think that I know anything about the little local internal infrastructure of secrety world, behind the veils, the little Mormon microphone behind the veil stuff, see, I know all of that stuff already. Just like I know that if the white clothes Mormon guy, if he tells you all to stop fucking doing that shit, I know for a fact that all of you will defy. All of you will run out to a Mormon fundy camp and you guys will sit there fundy banging in front of everybody. And then you guys will use what is probably a white clothes disqualification blackmail on the person as leverage. And you people have probably done this for so long that those people probably don't even fucking care anymore. And in the end, you people pretty much just want to take control of Mormon Temple with your guys' weird Mormon security guards and shit in there. Just remember, I am not associated with your guys' Mormon church, okay? Not at all. Don't be expecting me to do things in your guys' way. I don't give a fuck about your guys' weird society ideas. That shit's illegal and meant to cover up and to be maintaining like victim tortures and shit. It's meant to be maintaining people that blackmailed on people, and then you guys don't want them getting thrown in prison and shit because right now you Mormons are building a Mormonville like they do in Utah, and that is where you control all the actions of the police officers through subversive ways that get run out of a Mormon temple. And that this is the new and improved deputy cop gang method that you guys call a cleaned up area. Do you guys push all of your deputy gang members into that jail? Is that so you guys can use some sort of weird delusional jurisdiction idea? Come on, LT. Come on. This is where you're my target currently. Just like whoever does private investigating in that Mormon temple. Who do you interface with for Mormon Index? Do they do public shaming behind the scenes that justifies a reasoning? And is that legal? So, this is why I say, every time I poke the hornet's nest, they just start breaking laws. Basically. And right now, this group, gangs break laws all the time.